Hello students and welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Shefali Nagpal, Associate Professor at Human Resource Development Center, Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Sonipat. We are studying the paper Managing Culture and Diversity, and today we will study the module Cultural Dimensions. After studying this module, you would be able to understand the concept and the framework of organizational culture in a business organization, get familiar with the dimensions of the culture in an organization. Culture is a man-made part of the environment that consists of both subjective and objective fundamental and exist in the individual as well as in the natural environment. Culture is the iceberg called society. The analogy of the iceberg is useful to connect to the nation that culture consists of different layers. Certain characteristics of the culture are more visible, such as behavior, language, music, food. A deeper understanding of the culture only develops by looking at the submerged tip of the iceberg, which consists of the expressed values that reflect how cultural members explain the obvious culture, and at the very bottom of the iceberg consists of the basic, which form the foundations of each culture. It is these basic assumptions that provide the ultimate meaning to the expressed values and behavior. The world today is becoming a very competitive workplace, and to survive, organizations need to employ the best workforce from across the globe, thus making the workplace challenging. Globalization has ensured that geographical and trade borders are removed and people are mobile, but culturally everyone is different. Culture is never static because norms and values are always changing, and these changes are never sudden or extreme, and certain consistency is maintained. Linsett and Grafton Small in 1992 describes the organizational culture as a company, workplace or corporate culture. The organization culture varies from one organization, company, institution, group or society. The organization culture represents those expectations, norms and goals held in common by the members of that group. Society influences organizational culture. Culture. Holstede refers culture as the collective programming of the mind which distinguishes the member of one human group from another. Cultures do not stand still, they evolve over time, though slowly. What was a reasonable characterization in 1960s and 1970s may not be so today. This is what the Hill has explained. Culture shall be defined as a set of shared values, assumptions and beliefs that are learned through the membership in a group and that influences the attitude and behavior of the group members. This is what the Schein has said in 1995. Organizations are communities of the people with a mission, and each organization has its own core value, character, nature and identity. These basic characteristics are so fundamental and deep in the hierarchy that they tend to be much more powerful than the business processes, financial systems, business strategy, marketing plans, team behavior and corporate governance. This is what the Schein has explained in the year 2000. Culture is defined by the shared knowledge and meaning, and it is derived through the process of interaction and communication. This is what the Bosch-Collet has explained during the year 1990s. Framework of organizational culture. Deliberations on the nature of the organizational culture can be seen from two viewpoints. If one is inclined towards observable facts, the structural or the functional approach, and visualizes it as a variable which can be controlled, then one sees as something in an organization has. On the other hand, if one applies a phenomenological world viewpoint, a performance, a symbol or something emerging from the social interaction, then one sees something in an organization is, as explained by Legge in 1995 and Wilkinson in 1990. Let us discuss Mckinsey's 7S framework. In this framework, the components have certain functionality and management can control and integrate different components to form strong or weak cultures. Now let us see the 7S framework of McKinsey. McKinsey has given the 7S in which style, skill, strategy, staff, system, structure and integrated with the shared values. Style includes the participative style of management, formation of the network, teams from extension department, scientists, IT officials, kiosk operators, farmers and effective leadership. Structure include maybe less hierarchies, networking among information providers, operators and other support organizations, etc. Clear roles and responsibilities, coordination among all participating organizations, decentralized approach ensuring speedy communication, system which may include the factors like content delivery, choice of technologies, system related to information collection, updation, verification, control system involving the monitoring and evaluation of the information delivery process, capacity building, flexibility, creating database and knowledge management. Staff, it includes the factors like selecting information providers and kiosk operators, defining roles and responsibilities of the various agencies and stakeholders, awards and incentives, social recognition, awareness generation. Strategy, it can be revenue generation, alternative sources of funding, involvement of the public and the private institutions, identification of the need and designing right product service mix, implementation modules, resource allocation strategy, integration with other services, awareness generation. Skills include identifying skill gaps and consequent skill updation of operators, maintenance teams as well as expert control system. The shared values include defining mission, vision, goals and objective, shared values among the strategists and implementators. Let us now see the Johnson's cultural web. In this cultural web, all the various aspects of the organizations are entwined to create a single picture of the organization and all its aspect, that is culture, like stories, symbols, power structure, organizational structures, control system, routine and rituals and that lead to the paradigm. Three-level approach to organizational culture and its interaction. Level 1, it represents the artifacts and creations of the organization. Level 2 represents the more visible, consciously held values and belief. At level 3, it represents the basic underlying assumptions within the organization. Artifacts, espoused values and basic underlying assumptions. All these are interrelated to each other. In the artifacts, the visible organization structure and processes are there. Strategies, goals and philosophies. Underlying assumptions are unconscious, taken for granted beliefs, perception, thoughts and feelings. Schein's layers of organizational culture include the fundamental assumptions, values, behavioral norms, pattern of behavior and artifacts. Cultural dimensions. Culture has been proposed in dimensions by researchers. The first being Geert Hofstede, a Dutch social psychologist and management scholar who worked with the IBM, conducted the surveys between the 1967 to 1973, studied the dimensions of over 40 countries, while at IBM analysis of responses from over 1,16,000 IBM employees to question about their job and work setting revealed systematic cultural differences, which was used to develop relevant cultural values dimensions across the 4 dimensions. The 5th dimension being done with the help of the Chinese scholars to study the values associated with the short-term orientation and long-term orientation. Cultural dimensions. It include indulgence versus restraint, long versus short-term orientation, uncertainty avoidance, masculinity versus femininity, individualism versus collectivism, power distance. This is what the Holstede cultural dimensions. Power distance. It refers to whether the people agree to discrimination and power, including within an organization. Uncertainty avoidance. The sense of reassure or discomfort linked with the intensity of uncertainty and doubt. Low uncertainty avoidance means that persons accept unstructured and volatile condition. Individualism versus collectivism. It is a social structure in which the people give importance to the personal or social wishes. In individualistic societies, people look after themselves, and in collective societies, they take care of each other and companies take care of their well-being. Masculinity versus femininity. The importance of a society has on poignant and societal roles and occupational goal. A masculine culture reveals the fondness for boldness and accomplishment. A feminine society gives more importance to the ethics, interaction, teamwork, class of life. Both genders ascribe to the central value. Long-term orientation versus short-term orientation. Standards connected with the long-term orientation are fragility and persistence. Standards connected with the short-term orientation are esteem for the custom and gratifying societal obligations. Kluckhohn and Strodtbeck's cultural dimensions. The dimensions include: first, the essential nature; relationship to the nature; third, relationship to other people; fourth, modality of human activity; fifth, temporal focus of human activity. The values under these are good, evil and mix; second, dominant harmony or subjugation; third, lenient, collateral or individualistic; fourth, doing, being and containing; lastly, future, present and past. Mixed human nature orientation in harmony with nature. Lenient outlook based in a future oriented culture that focus on doing. On the cultural dimensional scales and anchors, it is explained: relationship with nature, the values regarding the requirement or accountability to manage life; mastery, conviction that individuals have urge or accountability to manage life; harmony, conviction that individuals should be in tune with the nature to uphold unity or stability; subjugation, conviction that the persons must surrender to life. Relationship with people, values about societal arrangement; individualistic, principles that societal arrangement be based on individual; collateral, values that the societal arrangement can be based with the people of a cadre; lineal, values that the societal arrangement can be firm and in line with the chain of command. On human activities dimension include the values about suitable objective. First is being, values that people should live for today. Second is becoming, values that people are considered as one. Third is doing, value based on purpose and action. Relationship with time is the next dimension, degree to which the past, present and future outweigh decision making. It includes the past, experiences are taken into the consideration while arriving at a decision. In the present, individuals are inclined by the conditions, and in future, individuals take into consideration the future. Human nature, values about good, unbiased and wise nature. In good, values that individuals are good; neutral is that individuals are unbiased; and evil is that the individuals are evil. Hall's cultural dimensions. On the cultural dimensions, it includes the context, space and time against which the various scale anchors are described. In context is degree to which the framework of communication is as significant as the communication itself. It represents low context and high context. Low context is undeviating and honest communication that expresses its significance, for example, Germany, US, etc. High context means the gist of the communication is explained beforehand, like in the countries Japan and China. The degree to which the individuals can adjust with others. Center of power and center of community are its two scale anchors. The center of power is need or clearly outline the individual room between oneself and others. Example, in the countries like US and Japan. Center of community, shared, secured, part-taking individual rooms with others, like in the countries Latin America and Arab states. Another cultural dimension is time, the degree to which the individual multitask or accept single task only. Monochronic include the chronological consideration to the personal goal, prioritizing time for personal and organizational needs separately, self-conception of movement in time. Single task only, like in the countries Germany, US. Polychronic takes up any number of jobs, no concept of personal or professional life. It includes multitasking, for example, the countries like France, Spain, Mexico and Arab states. Schewer's cultural dimensions. It includes conservatism, autonomy, degree to which the persons are included in the group. Conservatism, persons are surrounded in a collectively, finding importance through contribution and recognition with a crowd that contribute to their approach of life. Another scale anchor is autonomy. The persons are independent from group, finding importance on their individual and individuality. There are two types of autonomy, intellectual autonomy and affective autonomy. Intellectual autonomy is self-regulating search of information and privileges, and affective autonomy is self-regulating search of effectively constructive understanding. The next cultural dimension is hierarchy, egalitarianism, the degree to which the fairness is appreciated and accepted. Hierarchy, society is structured hierarchy. Persons are accepted whether they fulfill their responsibility or not. In the next is persons are seen as ethical contemporaries who shares critical welfare as other in egalitarianism. Mastery and harmony, degree to which the individuals look to revolutionize the normal and communal world to move ahead. In the mastery, the people go ahead by the self-assertion and search to revolutionize the innate and society to progress their individuals or societal interests. In the harmony, people would rather live in the world as it is. In the globe cultural dimensions, power distance, extent to which the individual anticipate power to be dispersed uniformly. It ranges from high to low. The people separated into the classes, control and authority, support are established and in short supply. Power is seen as a combined effort, restricted growth, mobility under the high scale anchors. Under the low scale anchors of the power distance, the public is generally the same social standing, power bases are temporary, influence often observes as a source of vice, intimidation and authority. Uncertainty, avoidance, degree to which the people follow the rule of the land to lower the uncertainty of future proceedings. In the high, inclination to honor societal relations, manuscript agreements in officially authorized contract, be methodological and retain thorough accounts, rely on regulation and official policy. Low, inclinations to be more casual in the community relations, dependence on individual they have belief in, not bothered about the regulations and rules, rely on the casual norm of actions. Humane orientation, degree to which the societies believe in justice, self-sacrifice and big-heartedness. It also ranges from high to low. Under the high, welfare of the others are important, value, unselfishness, generosity, compassion and charity. High need for being in the right place and association. Fear, psychosomatic and emotional issues. Low, egotism, value gratification and high need for authority and wealth. More, psychosomatic and emotional issues. Under the institutional or collectivism, it is the degree to which the society accepts extent to which the society encourages sharing of wealth and combined action. Under the high ankles, the people from the strong, unified group, mutually dependent on each other, collective objectives is prioritized over personal gain. Under the low scales, people shield for themselves and personal goals are prioritized. In group collectivism, it is the degree to which the people express satisfaction, faithfulness, and preparedness in the society and family. In the high degrees, it affiliates, presumes that they are mutually dependent and try to make the important individual donations to organization. Long-standing associations takes for granted the welfare of workers. Under the low degrees, individuals are self-reliant and are self-centered and work for temporary gains and bothered about only their personal welfare. Under the assertiveness, it is the extent to which the individuals are self-assured, argumentative, and forceful in dealing with others. Under the high degree, there is a value and antagonism, supremacy, and harsh performance for all associates of the world. Compassion for the physically powerful, importance given to the competition, conviction in the hard work, standard, direct, and definite communication. Under the low degree, they prefer diffidence and compassion to belligerence, compassions for fragile, value teamwork, often connections contest with defeat and repeat retribution, gender and egalitarianism, extent to which the gender difference is lessened. Under the high degree, contribution of the fairer sex in the organization, positions of power given the same standing in the society. Under the low degree, small contribution of the women in the workforce, lesser positions of the power, and no equal standing in the society. Future orientation. Degree to which the individuals connect in the future oriented behaviors such as development, empower, and deferred indulgence. Under the high degree, the superior importance on the trade and industry success, tendency to put aside for tomorrow, value fundamental impetus, society tends to be supple and flexible. Under the low degrees, less importance on the fiscal achievement, tendency for instantaneous satisfaction, value extrinsic drive. Society tends to be interfering and stiff. Under the performance orientation dimension, it is the extent to which the high performance is optimistic and compensated. Under the high degree, convictions that persons are be in charge of their fate, value, antagonism, competitiveness, and avarice, accentuates show over individuals. Under the low degrees, value accord with the surrounding over control, give importance to the elderly, faithfulness, communal associations, and values who individuals more than what they accomplish. National culture or organizational culture. According to the Taib, in the year 2003, the culture, nation, distinction can have a bearing on the way the organizations operate. If culture is defined as a set of historically evolved, learned, and shared values, attitudes, and the meanings, then this has the influence on the organization at both macro and micro level. At the macro level, the nation, in terms of its laws and economic institutions, must be considered by the organizations going about their businesses. They have to take account of the measures taken by the state to protect its interest and those of its inhabitants through employment laws, economic policies, safety legislations, and varied means to protect the interest of the state. Any change at the macro level are subject to the change through the political changes in the government or other nations with some sort of association. At the micro level, the organization is influenced by the cultural elements relating to the employer and employee relationship and to the behavior among the employees. Culture is viewed as a set of control mechanism used to govern behavior. Ellefson in 1991, however, recognizes that organization culture is created from a broad range of internal and external influences, and he believes that some of these influences lie beyond the managerial control. A nation's specific cultural attributes play an important role in determining the selection of the management and leadership style. As Leung in 2005 noted in her study of the Western managers in the Chinese firms, effective leadership in one cultural setting may be ineffective in another. The organization become more effective when they are able to identify and foster the appropriate leader behaviors for the relevant cultural situation. Henry Laurent in 1983 has carried out the investigation into the attitude of the managers in the several countries towards their organization. He made a series of studies concerning national differences in concept of management and produced several interesting results. Over a period of 2 years, questions were put to the experienced international managers attending executive programs at an international business school. The findings showed clear differences between the countries with regard to the perception of the organization as political systems, authority systems, role formation system, and hierarchical relationship system. The national culture remained foremost within an organization. Laurent explains, employees do not leave their national culture behind at the company's entrance. If awareness of the cultural differences is consciously raised, then the ability to analyze the effectiveness of employing the business policies in different cultural environment is considerably improved. Student, let us now summarize it. Culture is the values, norms, beliefs, attitude, ethics, actions, behavior which is relevant to a society. It may vary from place to place depending upon the socio-economic factors. Organizations across the globes have been identified into the cultural clusters based on the similarity of the values, languages, dress, and various other factors. Cultural dimensions help in understanding the behavior in the organization. Time and again, it has been found, or these cultures can be adaptive, but not at the cost of national culture. That is all. Thank you.